Behind Dutch Headlines, the who, why, and how of politics and media.
Hey, it's me, Greg Shapiro, the American Netherlander. Here's what you need to know to join the Dutch conversation. I hope you enjoy the no-tie look for week 47. Let's start out with the DutchNews.nl top 3. First of all, Sea Tribunal orders the release of Greenpeace activists and ship. Dutch tomatoes lead global exports for the first time. And Minister of Economische Zaken Henk Kamp refuses to hand over shale gas report papers. Find out more on DutchNews.nl. But our top story this week, will Prime Minister Mark Rutte get his Sinterklaas wish for a growing economy? There might be some positive signs. Of course, last week, the Dutch set a record with charitable giving to the relief effort in the Philippines. Might be that Dutch people are feeling a bit more generous. CBS reports that consumer confidence is on the rise. Might it be that all Dutch ministers are finally marching in lockstep, or as the Dutch like to say, with their noses pointed in the right direction? For a while, Mr. Usher has been trying to get unemployment to drop, and sure enough, it seems like that has happened in the past month. The finance minister has been trying to get Brussels to back off with the budget cutting, and finally, D. Bloom has talked to Uli the bully, and we seem to have gotten the green light for now. We've got the Dutch royal family who are going on feel-good missions to Russia, to South America, and we've even got Prime Minister Mark Rutte, who's going on trade missions to Indonesia and China, selling milk and dairy contracts to the Chinese in a potentially huge development. Is the Dutch economy on the rise and set to expand? Well, surely all we have to do now is avoid pointlessly insulting Chinese people on Dutch national television. We only hope that the viral video of Gordon on Holland's Got Talent last week does not make it to Chinese YouTube. Now it's time to check in with our Brussels correspondent, Wietse van der Gaast. Wietse, are you there in Brussels or Strasbourg, or where are you?
Well, Greg, I am here in Brussels, but let me quote the words of Conrad Hilton. When asked about the secret of the success of his hotels, he said location, location, location. And for the European Parliament, location has always been a big issue. An institution born out of negotiations and compromises, it actually has its official seat in Strasbourg, its administrative office in Luxembourg, but all the business gets done here in Brussels, where the other institutions are. However, it is written in European law that the Parliament doesn't even have the right to decide itself where it wants to be located, and it has to have 12 sessions per year in Strasbourg, which obviously is money in the pocket for the French. The cost of this traveling to Strasbourg has been one of the criticisms of the European populist vote.
So the populist vote, how did they vote on the travel issue?
Well, in the past weeks and months, the European headlines have been filled with the charismatic faces of Mr. Farage in the UK, Ms. Le Pen in France, and Wilders in Holland, thus creating a populist momentum towards the elections in 2014. Geert Wilders even published an article in the Wall Street Journal positioning himself as a fighter for democratic values and introducing the term not of nationalism but of European patriotism. It was therefore interesting to see what would happen when this week the European Parliament voted to grant it the right to say no to the Strasbourg travels and thus make a reduction of 800 million euros on its budget. Well, the populist parties voted against this cost reduction because, as they said, they were afraid to end up having meetings in Istanbul or Ankara. One conclusion then might be that populist patriotism does come at a price.
And finally, the International Sea Tribunal has ordered the release of Greenpeace activists and the ship from Russian custody. What will we say about that issue? Well, you can find out more on the Behind Dutch Headlines podcast, which you can see on our Facebook page. And don't forget to click through to the YouTube channel and subscribe there as well. That's all for this week. Thanks very much for watching, and until next week, this This is Greg Shapiro, the American Netherlander, saying thank you very Dutch.
Behind Dutch Headlines.